This is The Rock Show.
Backstage.
Hello, everyone. My radio name is Wes Nessman.
I'm Chris Covington.
And this is The Rock Show Backstage. And
Hello.
we are back after Chrissy taking an extended vacation.
It was so nice.
And you tell me if this is too personal. But I thought you were going to have a sad girl vacation, but you ended up having a very, very happy girl vacation. And you came back happier and everything.
I am refreshed.
Now, for those of us who have the same kind of things that we have, is there anything responsible for you turning things around a little bit?
No, I think I just needed a break. I needed to turn my phone off and
just
disconnect.
Check out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand
That's exactly what it was. I was feeling overwhelmed. But I think everybody gets that way. You know, I was talking to Meg Dowdy. We were talking about... we're talking about
Meg is a corporate person for us, and she's a very nice lady.
She is. We were talking about vacations, and she was like, you know, somebody gave me some really good advice once, and they said, don't wait to take some time when you're empty. Wait until, do it when you're half full.
Right.
You know, so don't, you know.
Oh, don't do it when you're full. Do it when you're half full.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, sometimes you're just running on fumes. You know, and
I love that idea.
She's right. She's right. You know.
You know, I did this. It's been a year, and it's time for me to do it again. I took off last year one day with no goal other than to ponder my life and where I was going.
To think of your life intrinsically for the day. Just
honest.
Yeah.
Honest. You know, because you end up having a whole bunch of things that are bouncing around in your head that you don't even realize are bouncing around in your head.
Yeah.
And if you go ahead and sort those out, then your mind's a little clearer and you can be a little bit more in the moment.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know. I don't think that I thought my trip was going to be sad. I did spend the majority of the time there alone. I went to my folks' condo.
Well, that doesn't mean sad.
But I mean, yeah, and I live alone.
You started with a sad girl picture.
A little bit.
Otherwise, I wouldn't even have brought it up.
Well, maybe a little bit, but maybe I'm also just a little bit photogenic, you know.
Oh, okay.
But I thought that I was going to really, I don't know what I thought, but it was nice to just be in a different place.
Yeah.
Looking at the water, like just a different setting. I mean, you know, again, I live alone, so you think we get time alone all the time, but this was different. It was like
different time alone.
Yeah, it was different.
Okay.
It was a different setting. It's a nice little spot, so it was very nice.
And when you came home, your cats had built an entertainment center.
Yes,
is my understanding.
And there was cat hookers everywhere.
Oh God, little cut marks on there from God knows what they were snorting.
Who knows?
Those kitty cats. Which takes us probably to our next topic that we should address really quick, because this didn't start off hilarious.
What?
You got kicked off TikTok again.
I know. That happened to me this morning. If you guys are listening to this on Friday, this morning we were live streaming. We didn't do anything wrong at all.
We did earlier.
But not really.
Well,
what did we do wrong earlier? It's very hard because they don't give you specific details on why you're kicked off or whatever. They banned my live stream for 7 days. I can still make videos and things like that.
Tell everybody for what?
For hate speech.
Yeah. Now, when I hear hate speech, I think that you're talking about racial things or a certain group of people.
Yeah.
And we weren't doing
at all
any of that. We never do.
No.
So I feel like it's an unjust classification.
Well,
I don't want anybody to look at my records 10 years from now and say he was kicked off for hate speech.
Yeah.
Oh, he must be a Nazi.
I know.
Yeah.
Isn't that a bizarre? But also, it's like, well, you know, our morning show is regulated by the FCC. You know, wouldn't you think that would be like the...
I think that the FCC knows more than TikTok. I really do.
All I'm saying is, like, they haven't fired up. TikTok kicks me. You know, we're broadcasting this to lots of people. My TikTok live stream had like 15 fools on there, you know? So it's like, man.
Every which one of them knew exactly what they were getting into
Yes.
and was actually, you put that little disclaimer or 18 or older thing or something on there?
Yes, I put that on there. And all of the people that were watching messaged and said, what happened? I told them, they said, what? I was just reading Wes, got a message from one of our buddies. You know, we've really kind of got a group of people that get on there and hang out with us live every day, which is kind of fun.
Interesting names,
They
too.
do. So one guy's named Cream Extreme.
And Hot Sauce on My Nips.
Hot Sauce on My Nips.
Big D Redneck.
Big D Redneck.
Yes.
Okay, Van Halen 1979.
You're attracting some real winners there, I can tell.
Dude, these have ended up being homies. But he said, "What did you guys do?" And I said, "Yeah, they claim some hate speech, but you know, that's not us." And he said, "Yeah, you guys are about boozing, smoking, and being out of pocket, but hate, never." And I feel like that was a pretty good description of me and you. So I don't know. You know, there's nothing we can do about that. It happens.
I myself am getting over the last remnants of a vaccination. When the vaccinations really get me, I get the chills and the sweats for, sometimes one time it happened for 2 hours, and that was it. This time it's hit me a little harder. Got my flu shot and everything all
I
together.
think in the last 4 years, you've had some that you were completely fine after.
Yeah,
too.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had posted, on my page there that I went home and sweated for 3 hours. Thank you for your thoughts and prayers, which is a joke.
Yes. Was I the only one that got the joke? No, a couple others did.
No, dude.
Because I commented, said I didn't think or pray.
I got some DMs going, you need to go to the hospital now. No, from people who thought I was having a heart attack.
I knew you were joking immediately when you said thanks for the thoughts and prayers.
You knew where I was going, too,
Yeah.
to get the vaccinations.
Right.
And which, of course, opened up with a dialogue with my mother who, and it's so interesting. I don't know if interesting is the right word, but, when somebody wants to fight with you about vaccinations and stuff like that, I don't want to fight about it. Just grab your Google, and, take whatever you want out of it. I don't care if you get one or not. Mom, if you don't have to get a vaccination.
Right.
It'll be fine. That just means that I'll get an inheritance a little sooner.
That's dark.
Well, 80. No. Stop right here. Stop. Full stop. If your mother was 84 years old and you were in charge,
I let her do whatever the hell she wanted.
You wouldn't encourage her to get a vaccination.
I mean, I would, but I'd also
at 84 years old.
At 84, if my mom was like, "I want a carton of Camels," I'd be like,
well, that's fine.
I'd go get them for her.
That's fine. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I already know the little feedback loop that you're in. I am not going to argue with it. And you know what? You are welcome to think that I'm in a feedback loop. But mine's based in science.
Right. I think that the older generation, too, has a lot more trouble deciphering truth and fact and so on the internet.
Well,
they really seem like they struggle with it. Bad.
What's crazy,
they fall into traps.
These are the people who took us to get our vaccination.
I know. Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
My mom was a nurse, her whole life, and her friend's in nursing. She's, telling me about, she's like, I'm looking at them like we went to fucking nursing school together.
Right.
And you're going to sit here and try to tell me that, you don't need a vaccine?
Yeah.
The vaccinations are stupid. My mom's her mind has been blown by the whole thing. She's like, these people I've known that I thought were intelligent people my whole life.
Oh, I mean, but yeah.
She's shocked by it.
But, we are coming to you, and I'll just come out and say it. Our listeners are not like this, but we're coming to you from one of these stupider parts of the country.
Yeah.
We actually had threats of shutting down our local hospitals because the staff did not want to get vaccinated.
Isn't that crazy?
Now, imagine.
Back during the plague.
Imagine if they said, well, we're not going to wash our hands because germs are a myth. I can't see germs.
Imagine.
Well, how long would they have that job?
I mean, who wants to get treated by, hey, I think I might have measles. Oh, hey, the doctor probably does too. It's like, who wants to be treated by somebody that could possibly have something? You would think they would take the most opportunity to prevent things.
Okay, enough
crazy.
Of all that nonsense.
That's dumb.
I don't want to anger
It's not worth the argument, and it's just, you know what? Do whatever you want to do. Just leave me alone.
It was just agitating me, and
Yeah.
let's talk about something funny.
Okay.
We had the question, what's something you caught a kid doing? And you actually had multiple answers.
I did, yeah.
What do you got? And I just thought of another one, too.
The one I shared on air was catching my little sister with some cherry tomatoes in the back of her panties. She went and got them in the fridge in the middle of the night. And
I'm carrying cherry tomatoes in the front of my panties right now.
Dude, we've harassed her for years about it. She loves hearing the story. She laughs every time. But One time I was at my high school boyfriend's house, and we were walking to the kitchen to get a snack, and his little brother was notorious for being a little bit naughty, and his mother would in fact, you know his parents, his mother would take his bedroom door away from him. You know, if you're misbehaving, you don't get privacy. That was the thing. My parents didn't do that, but they did this. So
I've heard of a number of parents doing that. It seems barbaric
it does
to me.
I don't like it either, but he also was in trouble a lot, so I'm not sure at this point.
Yeah,
so they might have tried other things first. So anyway, we walked by his bedroom, which has no door on it, and he's standing there completely naked, holding a blow dryer in his hand and looking very guilty. And we had no idea what he was doing. He just looks right at us, and he's just standing there holding a blow dryer naked. And we were like, what? And we just kept walking. And I remember my little boyfriend was like, I don't know, was he fucking trying to give himself a blowjob? What the
That's not how that works.
I know. He goes, I think he's fucking confused.
You need a good wet dry vac.
Oh my God. And we teased him about it for years. We still have no idea what he was doing. Who knows?
Well,
who knows?
was he?
He was butt naked holding it in his hand.
Was he excited at the time?
No, I don't know.
So you caught him before he really started
He was
getting
just
to
standing
it?
there naked. And you know what? He could have been blow drying his hair naked. I don't know. But he was standing there naked, just holding it, turned off, and looked right at us, made eye contact, and we were like, what the fuck did we just see? You don't have any more stories about Renee West?
Well, actually, I got a story about my brother, and it's a very, very short story. My brother was pretty much like a crackhead in training. You know the old rotary phones, the typical one you think of?
Yes.
The family woke up one Saturday morning, and my brother had taken it apart.
Oh.
And by taking it apart, I mean every single screw and every single thing. Completely had taken the phone 100% apart.
Oh, no.
It's like, okay, we're glad this kid is curious, but we got no phone.
Oh, my gosh. Don't they say really smart kids do that kind of stuff? Oh, take it apart, put it back together, see how it works.
Yeah, it's one of those
Curious.
things. In fact, it's an old joke is, if you have a kid and you give them a drum, you say, hey, I wonder what's inside there. You tell them that after you get tired of them playing the drum. Because once they open it up,
There's no...
there's no
I've never
turning.
heard that.
There is no turning back from that.
That's funny.
Yeah. Okay. What else do we have going on this week?
This weekend, tonight in Canyon, Third Eye Blind is playing.
Third Eye Blind's doing that.
Gave
but
away
you're
some tickets to
going
that.
to a local show.
I am going to go to a local show at the Spoon. I'm actually really excited. I do not know the band, but a listener sent me a message, and he said it would mean a whole lot to him if I could go and see his band. And he said he was a big fan of our show.
Well, they're no Toxic Menace.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
But
Well, how do you feel about the fact that we got word that we are like the #1 station for people in jail?
I think it's awesome.
I've never.
And I think it's fitting.
You know what? I've never had a problem with that.
I think it's dope. If anyone's going to laugh at the shit we say about drugs, sex, and rock and roll, it's those motherfuckers. And if anybody needs a laugh, it's them too,
That right there.
They need that laugh.
That right there nailed it. I don't make the correlation that criminals listen to this station. I make the correlation that people that need a little
laugh.
break, a little laugh, listen to this show. And it's the same thing. They were big nighttime listeners too.
Yeah.
Big morning listeners and big nighttime listeners.
And these are-
I think they're doing things during the day.
Probably.
Laundry and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, these are also like a demographic of people that are not very judgmental. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're not there to judge. They like to hear the stories about dumb criminals and stuff too. Yeah, I had a friend tell me that we were really popular at the Lubbock County Jail.
Yeah. Well,
But also we've gotten some letters.
County Jail.
We've also got some letters from La Mesa, letters from Amarillo area.
Pretty sure the sheriff himself tunes in every now and then because he's a big Rammstein fan.
Dude, cops stop and visit me at Tejas Motors all the time or at remotes. When they pull up, I get nervous and sweaty. I'm like, there's a cop here. Get out. And it's like, I'm just here for a T-shirt. And it's like that. This is where the criminals and the cops come together. The glue that holds them together, Wes, is the rock
Maybe
show.
you guys could communicate with each other. Maybe a cop, you could look at a guy and go, you know what, this is a fellow rocker, and let him off the hook.
Let him off the hook.
It's
just a little heroin.
Yeah, it's just
Not even that big of a deal.
Who does that hurt? Nobody. That's what I've heard.
Like a couple people.
Well, a couple people.
Just think a couple of them.
Maybe just a couple people get hurt with the heroines.
But we're bringing people together, you know?
That's what we try to do. We're spreading the love.
I do like
what we're doing.
It's kind of cool that cops and criminals both like the show.
Yep.
I like that.
Well, I never know what to do when you're gone in terms of what people want. I feel like that people tune in, they want Chrissy and Wes no matter what.
They do.
But there's a limit to how much I'm comfortable running old stuff, and that's for two reasons.
It's hard to listen to old stuff sometimes.
Man,
First year stuff, don't want to hear it.
almost without fail, if it's like over 2 or 3
Weeks.
I feel like I'm
Different
better.
person.
I'm better than that. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
I can't handle it.
It is weird.
So I had an interesting array of people. Most of them Laugh Up City stand-up comedian people. We had Crow in, which was wonderful to visit with him. He was our old nighttime guy, and that guy is very, very interesting because he's incredibly dry for 95% of the time, and then the 5 seconds he pops off, it's total, almost Robin Williams land.
Man, I need to listen to that. I didn't even get to listen to that episode.
Well, he hadn't even done radio in 15 years or something like that. But yeah, he was.
I bet
fun.
he enjoyed being here.
And then JJ Howell is my go-to guy to fill in.
Yeah.
And I find JJ very funny. Some people find him, who's this stoner dude? JJ's not that big of a stoner.
He's really not.
He just has that voice that in the movies sounds like that.
Yeah.
You know?
JJ is a big sweetie
Yeah.
with a dark sense of humor.
Oh God,
Very,
it's so
very
dark. It makes me
We
nervous.
have to warn him sometimes.
Yeah. And then we had Red Giles in, who accidentally got invited to the show. Do you want to tell that story?
Red thought that has he been on the show before?
Didn't
I've
we
invited him to
interview
the podcast many times, and I don't care. Have we had him on?
I
Nothing-
think he is the third fat bastard.
I think he
out
showed
of
up in the parking lot on the
3.
same day as someone else, and he
Yeah,
decided to
and we-
leave and
and we
give them the chance.
Yeah,
Red
yeah.
is one of fat bastard. Why would you say that?
Well, because
There's 3 big guys.
There's 3 big
We do have
guys.
3 big guys in comedy, and
Yeah.
they're all so sweet. We love them
One
all.
of them could fuck off and die.
Okay, come on.
And then there's
Come
there's
on.
Curtis Hines, who's really, really funny.
Wes loves Curtis, but Red
then
is like
Red.
one of my besties. He's a good friend of mine. And anyway, he messaged Wes thinking he was messaging his friend Wes, and he was like, "Hey man, do you smoke weed?"
Yeah.
And he was like, he goes, "I didn't even realize I had messaged the wrong Wes until way later." He was like, so he said he went and deleted one of the messages he sent you, and then he was like, asked if he could be on the show.
Yeah, he didn't know it was me until I responded with send nudes.
Yeah.
Then he knew who it was.
I just thought that was so funny. He was
Well,
telling me about that. He came by my house and brought me some pot roast and told me that story. And
pot roast.
yeah, it was a pot roast.
yeah.
Yes, it was delicious.
Yeah. Yeah, and he just happened to send that message while I was, thinking about who I was going to have on the show. And I was going to have Landon King, who, when he comes on the show, it's perfect. But we're very, very much two old dudes.
I like hearing y'all together.
And I like having a younger perspective when I can. But Landon was really busy that week, and I thought, man, I'm going to give this guy a break and save him for another time. And then Selena Martinez. Selena and I have a real hard time connecting, but there's no disputing that she is a very, very funny lady.
Yeah.
Well, she is a young, devout lesbian.
Married. Yeah.
Yeah, devout in terms of married and everything like that. And I'm an old married guy. You'd think we would connect on the fact that we're just like old homebodies and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just very, very hard to relate because we're of completely different generations.
I think she would probably agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
you have respect for each other at the same time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but it's very hard to get that comedic flow going.
Yeah.
And I don't know why you and I are able to do it, and I'm not able to do that with Selena.
Yeah, but I mean, even we've worked together for a while now, for almost 4 years.
Oh, God.
And at the very beginning, although I do think we were pretty good from the beginning, honestly, it's gotten better over time because we sit across from each other. We do things like, well, we need to make eye contact so that this person doesn't step on what that person said. There's different shit that they're not
Oh, God.
constantly thinking about.
That is one of the
The tennis match.
the toughest conversations to have. I had to have it with your previous partner too. And it's like, I need you to look me in the eyes. Look me in the eyes.
Yeah.
And it's
uncomfortable.
We're looking at each other right now.
It's awful.
Longer than I could ever look at anybody else in the eyes.
I'm used to it.
It's part of what is necessary. It's as necessary as having headphones on.
And every once in a while, somebody will recognize that. You know, I've had some comedian friends that will listen to us and say, you know, that is like a tennis match.
And you're like, and I don't want to look at anybody today. I got a zit on my nose. You know,
yeah.
And all that. And it's like,
oh, no, I don't give a fuck anymore.
Unfortunately, it's something we have to do.
No, I don't care anymore.
You know, and we have a little screen in between us in case there's any spittery.
Because sometimes there is snot flying and shit.
When you're speaking and enunciating like this, it's inevitable. You cannot not have it.
Yeah. Well, I can't even. I mean, as much fun. I'm
well,
glad.
that and you're a mountain troll.
I am a disgusting garbage person
who is always drooling.
Just spit. It's just I can't not. I can't not. And it's thick slobber. It's thick. But, you know, I'm glad they all got to come on here because I love all of them and I think it's fun and all of that. But I can't imagine, like, obviously, if there's somebody else sitting across from me right now and it wasn't you, I think I would be like, you're doing all of this wrong. I think
you know
I really
what?
think I would.
No,
It'd be hard for me to not think that. It'd be hard for me.
Okay, first off.
Unless it was a radio person.
I agree with you. Secondly, we have a prep service. That is somebody who gathers up all the information that's out there and says that there's a survey here that says the top 10 vegetables, and there's a survey here that says this is the way to get back with your ex, and it's National This Day. We have this prep service. Part of this prep service, and you've never gone there, is an area where DJs talk about their ideas for shows and their successful bits and all that stuff. I look at it nearly every day. About once every 2 or 3 months, there's like a good question there or something, and I don't want to miss that. The rest of it is fucking cringe, dude.
Really?
Fucking cringe.
Yeah.
You know, you got a divorced alcoholic fucking DJ, and he's doing relationship questions on his show. And the other thing that you people who are listening here need to know, when it comes to those more intimate questions and stuff like that, that is all staged. That is all actors. That is all bullshit.
Prank calls are fake.
We have real people on our show, and that's why you're hearing them stumble. They're not professionals. Of course, the road crew's got better over the years. They become a little more media savvy.
Yeah.
But all of the prank calls are illegal. They are illegal. You cannot do that.
You guys don't know how many listeners will say to me and Wes, hey, oh man, it'd really be cool if you did some prank calls. And it's just like makes us both want to throw up.
Everybody knows my voice.
Yeah, exactly.
Except when I'm doing my British woman.
Yeah.
They'd call over there. I'd like to order a pepperoni pizza. And by the way, how big's your sausage? See, it won't work.
They're always like, I like to listen to the prank calls. And it's like, do you know that you are being fooled? Those are not real.
Those are not real.
And they sound terrible. I don't even think they sound good at all. I don't know. I really
Right.
don't.
And that's the funny thing is, and you'll find this out if you ever move, a lot of those are syndicated. So the Larry Show, I'm making up names here, will have the same prank calls as the Susie Show on the other side. And you're going, that same person is calling these two places?
Right.
Come on.
They're just like, well, you can't be two places at the same time, so we can make this happen.
Right, exactly.
Well, me and Wes are more honest.
You know what? On one hand, and there are a number of people who will hear this, and there's a number of people who know that it's all fantasy and whatever. You know, the movies aren't real either. But it just agitates me when you're trying to, because we try to be a little bit more organic and close to the ground and use all that garbage.
Maybe a little edgy.
Yeah, and we try to write our own jokes too. And you know what? Lots of times you'll probably hear us and you'll go, why did he laugh at that joke? Or why did she laugh at that joke? It's a comedian thing, and I hate to use that word. It's a comedian thing that sometimes it's really, really funny when it dies.
Yeah, well, there's that too. But also, sometimes you need to remind people when the fuck to laugh. And I know that sounds weird, But I do it.
no.
I do it at
That's
stand up all the time.
The whole reason why there's a laugh tracks.
I do it at stand up. Like the comedians get so excited when I get there because they know that I'm gonna fucking laugh for their goddamn jokes. You know, I'm gonna laugh because
I am a big laugher.
I'm there to help. I'm there to watch a show, and if there's people in the audience, maybe I need to tell them when shit's funny.
If I was on the West Coast, they would hire me to be in audiences.
Yeah.
You know,
I
I
think
mean,
same.
I really, really think they would do it.
I'll give everybody a
Because
laugh.
I get a laugh whether it's funny or because it died because it wasn't funny.
Same.
You know, and circling back around to the beginning of our conversation, which we're about to run out of time too, I will tell those of you who have emotional problems that it is an absolute fact that when you laugh, whether it's fake, real, or whatever, it convinces your brain that you're happy, even if you're not happy.
Yeah, release those
And
endorphins.
I feel like that's one of the reasons why I get here early every morning and cannot wait for Chrissy to get here. Because even if I'm having a bad day, if I have to fake laugh, before you know it, I'm really laughing.
Real laughing.
You know?
Oh, isn't that nice?
I know.
Oh.
Well, I mean, it was the same for anybody that was over there.
Okay.
But you know
Well,
what
you don't
I'm
have. Okay, all right. That's enough. That's fine. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us.
All right. Well, one last thing.
Ooh, go get that Bluebell ice cream.
Oh,
Dude,
listen.
there's a new Bluebell flavor. It's the last of the year. Go fucking get it.
I am guilty of hyperbole and exaggerating on occasions. But when I tasted it, I went, this is the most chocolate thing of all chocolate things I have ever tasted.
It's
and
good.
it was an ice cream. Then I opened up my Facebook feed this morning, and some motherfucker is obviously a savage, had a picture of a big bowl of that, and he'd put Hershey's Magic Shell on top.
On top of it.
And I did. That's what I wrote on there.
What a monster.
I wrote, you are a savage.
This guy's wild.
If you like chocolate, even a little bit,
Go
even
get
a
it.
tiny little bit. You know, the only one I ever lied about liking, and there's only one that I ever lied.
Coffee?
No, I never tasted the coffee.
I know
Everybody
he-
knows
he does not like coffee.
I did not like the cereal one. I did not. You know what? And I ended
Did
up.
the Three Pebbles one?
Yeah, and I still ended up eating the whole
See, I
pint.
like that one, but I like that.
It's because you have to love it growing
nostalgic
up.
from childhood.
Yeah, but the rest of them,
The
man.
peppermint one's the one that surprised me the most because I don't like peppermints.
It just seems like it would be a bit much in
It's-
an ice cream, huh?
That one's fucking good. It's coming up Christmas time. So.
I'm very disappointed they did not do a pumpkin, though. But I will again tell you, in case you didn't hear it on the air, the pumpkin pie blizzard at DQ is chef's kiss. It is off the chain. It
Wes
is
got a large one. I was like, who gets a large blizzard?
That was for comedic
Oh,
effect.
whatever. Now he's being shy.
Nah,
I think he ate a large blizzard. Did you cry in the parking lot too?
Yeah. Well, and masturbated. All of them.
And
well,
on that note,
you got to use those tears for something.
Jesus.
Why not lube?
Oh, God. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad, if you hear this.
Okay.
All right, bye.
This has been The Rock Show. Backstage.